Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cryptic Humility. Super excited to talk to you guys this week. We are steering away from crypto for a period of time because we are entering the world of AI. Now, nobody panic because AI is not taking over our jobs or taking over our world or taking over our life. I really want to ease your worries. And also, if you are avidly online, for example, you're on TikTok, you're on YouTube, etc., I see so many videos of like voice cloning, AI generation, and I'm always infinitely curious as to how people are doing this. So today I want to take us through a crash course of a couple of companies that would be good to mention that are very AI focused, that help you create all these innovations and hopefully ease your worries about the AI world by giving my own thoughts and talking a little bit about AI regulation today within the United States. As always, I'm going to put the top 10 cryptocurrencies on the screen here for your review. If you know me and you've been watching the podcast, I am a strict advocate of working smarter, not harder. Now, that's so easy to say. Everybody would say, yeah, of course I want to work smarter, not harder. But how many of you out here are still not using Apple Pay? Now, if you know me on the podcast, I talk about two major things. I talk about working at the bank because that opened my eyes to the world of crypto. And also I talk about Apple Pay, because if you are not using Apple Pay come 2026, you cannot say that you are an advocate of working smarter, not harder. Apple Pay is one of the greatest innovations. You don't even need to bring your wallet anymore. They're in the process of even adding a digital ID to your Apple wallet. So you don't even need to bring your ID anywhere anymore. I mean, we're still working towards that, but if you do not know how to use Apple Pay, I went as far as in a couple podcast episodes ago, I gave you a whole guideline, but the whole podcast episode mainly was teaching you how to use Apple Pay. So if you do not know how to use Apple Pay yet, please check out that episode, please. But anyways, before we get into all these AI innovations, there's so much crippling fear around AI. AI is going to take over our jobs. AI is going to take over our life. We need regulations with AI. I agree. We need regulations with AI. We're going to talk about that. But to say that AI is going to completely take over our world, I truly disagree with that. Do I think that there will be a time where AI is taking over entry-level jobs? Of course. But if they take over entry-level jobs and AI is evolving, with the evolution of an entirely new industry is going to come with new jobs. These new jobs just might be a little bit higher scale. Like, there is always going to be a human that needs to supervise and overlook what is happening with the AI. There's always going to be somebody who's creating that code. There's always going to be somebody that's updating that code. There's always going to be somebody in that niche that has to review what's going on. So to say that AI is going to take over, AI is going to take our jobs, AI is going to, like, yes, maybe it's going to take over the jobs that we have now, but who's to say what jobs are to come when we have flying cars, for example? You know, we're going to need new people to be creating those flying cars. Like, you hear what I'm saying? Like, yes, AI is going to evolve, but we're going to evolve with it. And there's always going to be jobs that are needed with new AI integration. Lastly, before we get into this, I always promise myself that I'm not going to be one of those elderly people that does not evolve with the times. It's so infuriating dealing with people who will not evolve with the times. Cell phones came out when my grandmother was like 40 or 50 years old, and now she's 80 years old and she still refuses to use a cell phone. She doesn't even really know how to use a flip phone. And it's just like, I just feel like half your life, you've missed so many opportunities. Google Maps, being able to find directions anywhere you want to go. Spotify, being able to find all your old music that you couldn't find when you were a kid growing up. Now you can listen to it all the time on your phone. So I just feel like if you don't evolve with the times, you're truly missing. And, you know, if you operate in a fear-based mentality and you lack adaptability and the ability to evolve with technology, then that's going to hurt not only you, but it's going to hurt your kids. It's going to hurt how you interact with your kids. It might hurt your business as you're trying to scale your business. But of course, as we know, a lot of the buzz right now is AI chatbots. ChatGPT is one of the biggest innovations that completely changed the world. It changed a lot of college students too. I'm actually so happy that I didn't have ChatGPT in school, because that would have just been, I think ChatGPT can diminish authenticity in a classroom setting like that. If we're all relying on ChatGPT, it might give us all similar answers, of course. But if you're looking in regards to research and being able to sum research, I think ChatGPT is amazing. But of course, there are other AI tools that are outside of just solution-based AI, meaning like I'm inputting a question and it's giving me back an answer. There are so many other things that we can work with. I'm going to give you a similar example right now, and that would be Sesame AI. Sesame AI is looking to naturalize the voice bots that we are talking to that are giving us answers, solutions, results, data collection, etc. So just like how Siri is, it's a female voice, but it's very robotic. What Sesame AI is trying to do is they're like creating eyewear that you can wear that brings your AI with you. And they have two AI bots. One is called Maya, one is called Miles. The company started in 2022. They're trying to naturalize their voices so you can hear their breathing, you can hear them stutter, and it sounds like it would be me talking to you and being able to work with you through your work, your personal life, your choices, your like I said, data consumption, anything that you would need. So it feels less robotic. Sesame AI is trying to create an AI. I don't even want to say chatbot because really it's like trying to become your AI personal assistant, lifestyle companion. You can work with every single day. Somebody that you can work with every single day that's human-like. But what I really wanted to capitalize on is that Maya goes into remote viewing. Now, in the military, if they were trying to find a target without being able to see the target, like a prime example is if, when we were looking for Osama bin Laden, for example, and I want to say that we did not use remote viewing for this, but this is a good example. If we were trying to find him, we could use remote viewing, meaning that we can't exactly see the target, meaning that we know he was in his house, we know he was with his family in this certain town, etc. Maybe we can't see that, but we can sketch a drawing based off, data that we have, events that have occurred, witnesses, any information that we can collect to psychically analyze and decipher where Osama bin Laden may be. Now, they have done this in the military, and actually, during the Cold War, the CIA used remote viewing or attempted to use remote viewing to help end the Cold War and also be able to locate submarines. This was funded by the Stargate project, but it actually was defunded and diminished after a short period of time because they realized that it's not truly effective. The reason why remote viewing is not truly effective, and I'm saying this because now AI is doing it, so it's kind of good for you to know, what the risks and regulations are with this. But the reason why it's not effective is because it's pseudoscience, meaning that there are methods and practices, but they are not exactly backed by science. Meaning, some would even go to say that remote viewing can be kind of psychic if you're getting initial feelings, initial interpretations. Maybe you're getting smells, maybe you're seeing colors, based off the data that you have. You're drawing conclusions that can't be truly scientifically proven or backed. It's just you're lacking evidence. There's a lot of confirmation bias here. In my pastime, I love to talk about spiritual stuff. I love to get into spiritual stuff. And this is kind of like a psychic, scientific way of finding targets. And now AI is able to compose impressions and data and be able to kind of generate intuitive responses based off what they would think or what they are sensing. I hope this makes sense. Osama bin Laden was not in fact found by remote viewing. As I said, he was found by satellite imagery, signal intelligence, and human intelligence. So a combined effort there of actual technology and actual science. Maya can also do past remote viewing. And best example I could give is, let's say we have a cold case, a criminal cold case, we can't find the murderer. She is able to go back in time to review the evidence, the witness statements, maybe an item that was lost but now is found, and data of like the locations and where the suspect may have been at this time and this time and this time. She can compose and gather all that data and start generating ideas of who the killer may be, where the killer may be. So she has the ability to, just like how we gather and compose a bunch of data and then critically think about that data, and then using our own intuition and kind of psychic abilities, if you will, like intuition is what I'm really getting at. We can compose solutions and gut feelings and steps to take to kind of solve the case. So that's what AI can do now. AI can gather all that information and start presenting possible solutions based off gut feelings. Like AI is able to have gut feelings and kind of like conspiracy thoughts, if you will, of what has happened in this case. If you want a real life example of this, the TV series or the TV show Dead Zone used a fictional version of remote viewing in trying to find Osama bin Laden. So if you really want to understand this concept in full, because it's really going to be playing out in AI a lot, and also it will kind of, I wanted to bring this up because it's kind of showing you to not fully trust AI in this example of like solutions. And they could be talking about future news, for example, AI, the things that you conclude with them, they can psychically try to predict or analyze data to give you results. And sometimes that might not be scientifically accurate. That's all I'm trying to say. The next best website that I want to bring awareness to is 11 Labs. 11 Labs was founded in 2022, and it's everything that you're seeing online. Okay, so they have a plethora of AI tools. I'm like, I literally wrote in my notes. What did I write in my notes? I go, this platform is actually insane. That's what I wrote in my notes because it's true. Here are all the features that they offer. So they offer text to speech, meaning, and I'm going from simplest to like most intense, but text to speech is you can type in what you want and then the AI generator will generate a voice for you. So they actually have an option where you can customize a voice. So let's say I wanted an old British man that's telling a fairy tale for an audiobook. Here is the audiobook. I just typed out the whole audiobook. Then they can classify the exact niche of voice that I'm looking for to be able to read it. The next best thing, and I swear, if you have a crypto business, if you are a crypto startup, or even just a general business, you have another business that's not even involved in crypto investing, whatever, this is one of the best tools. This tool is that if you create an ad with your voice, let's say that you're the CEO of your company and you create an ad with your voice. But for example, crypto is international. So let's say you're trying to scale your business. You want to get this ad out there even further. You don't want to limit the amount of people that could be looking at this. 11 Labs, the company, actually has a feature that allows you to translate your voice to another language, your exact voice to another language in the exact advertisement that you created. So if you are looking to scale your business and you're the CEO and you're the brand itself, you're the ambassador of the company, you can actually use this tool to translate your slogan, your ad, to be able to push it out there to international countries. Amazing. You can now use your advertisement globally. Speech to text option. This is another great tool. And let me explain why. Every single week on the podcast, I am jotting down notes. I have my computer right here and I'm just jotting down notes of things that I really want to touch upon throughout the podcast episode. Sometimes that can be very time consuming where I'm like going and pulling through data. I'm citing my sources. I'm making sure everything's legit. I'm fact checking things, etc. It's a lot. It's about 3 to 4 pages. It can take a lot of time. Now, what I could do is I could be doing my research, reading my research, summarizing it in my head, and then speaking to my AI assistant what notes that they need to be taking. So as I'm speaking, they are taking the notes for me. So I could just be going and doing my research, and then my AI assistant, as I'm talking to them and explaining to them about what I'm reading and what I want on the notes, they'll just be taking the notes for me. It's so much faster. And honestly, I'm a big believer in like practicing what you preach. And since I'm like preaching and pushing this onto you guys, I've actually started to do my own research about 11 Labs and their pricing plans and like how I can actually get started on this myself. I already am using AI tools. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Riverside, but Riverside is a podcasting platform that I use. I'm using it right now, and it's AI focused. So after I go to edit my podcast, I can click on the AI tools and it will cut all the ums, all the ands, all the gaps, all the fillers. It will do auto-generate all that for me. It used to take me like an hour or two to just edit a 30-minute podcast episode. Now it takes me an hour to edit like an hour and a half podcast episode. It is absolutely amazing. So always using AI, always looking to find AI innovations that are making me be able to work faster. Perhaps the coolest feature, and maybe I'm just behind on the times, but perhaps the coolest feature of this platform is that you can compose an idea that you have for a song, and they will create AI, and I know AI generated music is, there's this so many people against AI generated music, and I agree with that to a certain extent. I'm mainly looking at this from a commercial perspective. Like, let's say I have a business, I need to create an ad and I need music, and I don't want to go through the process of having to worry about, stealing somebody's song or not being able to commercialize somebody's song, for example. Using the AI generated song and music is amazing for businesses. I am mainly talking about this on a business perspective. I think that obviously AI music for social fun can completely diminish artists and actual human creativity. So, but I think from a business perspective, this is like amazing. But yeah, and then also after you create that song, if you wanted to go and translate it to a different language, still using your voice, now we don't need Justin Bieber to be learning Spanish to have a Spanish feature with one of his Spanish artists, for example, in that collab. Now we can literally just take his voice and AI generate it so that the song is in a different language. Now, I don't know if that would affect the rhyme of the music. I'm assuming so, but that's a whole nother battle that we can deal with at a separate time. My mentor, Jeff, who helps me with my business venture, he is an older guy. He's from Score. Score is a free mentor site. If you're looking for a business, if you're trying to start a business startup and you need help, I would highly recommend Score. I'm going to list it down below. It's a free mentor site. They set you up with a mentor that can help you build your business. They meet with you at any time. I got matched with Jeff. Jeff is I would say he's in his late 70s, super nice, very successful business guy himself over the years. He tells me that as a CEO, your most valuable asset is your time. If you are too busy working and editing the podcast and editing the content and it's taking you so long and now you're behind schedule, it's like you're not going to run a successful company. The CEO's time is one of the most important things, time management. AI allows you to have more time management. So if you are trying to start a crypto business or, just a regular fintech company, for example, look into these companies, look into 11 Labs, look into Sesame AI. And Sesame AI is kind of just like your chat GPT, but it's just a little more advanced. And it's a little more human-like. So it doesn't feel like you're talking to a robot. That customer, because here's a hot take too. I do not support AI customer service. I think AI customer service should be banned. And I'll talk about that again in a second. But I truly think that when technology is not working, you should not need to talk to technology to be able to solve it. I think you should be able to talk to a human in that case. Or, at the very least, a lot of the AI customer support is still severely underdeveloped, in my opinion. And like, we need to advance it more before we can solely depend on that. I still think we need human interaction in customer service. That is a big thing. Lastly, some honorable mentions here that need to be talked about is Adobe Firefly. So Adobe Firefly is how all these people are getting AI images, AI videos, AI designs. So if you are looking to be able to customize AI designs, like, you have an idea in your head, you want to generate an AI image that matches that, Adobe Firefly can do that. Same thing if you already have existing media, like let's say you have an existing video, but you want to AI generate it. Just like how we on TikTok, we watch all these AI generated videos and we're like, is that even real? Like, people say, oh my God, when I'm 80, I'm going to get scammed because of these AI videos. If you're interested in how you can start doing that, then you can check out Adobe Firefly. That's probably where a lot of people are doing it from. Another really big thing is I actually built my prototype website for the business for the podcast. That's every single podcast episode. I link exchangefxc.com. That is my prototype website. So it's not our actual website, but it's just an idea of like where I'm trying to get to for the business. And I actually created that website via Wix. And Wix actually has AI generated website developments. They have specific templates that have already been created for you, like AI generated. So you can just pick which one you want and it already has formatted your website for you. All you have to do is go in and input the text. And to close out this news section before we have our guest speaker come on, of course, we need to talk about scams and regulations that are happening in the AI space. So actually, ironically, on December 11th of this year, so 3 days ago, Donald Trump signed the executive order ensuring a national policy framework for artificial intelligence. Now, what this is it's federal guidelines. So the Trump administration is definitely looking to regulate AI, but they don't want to do one universal federal regulation just yet. Trump thinks that if we are going state by state with AI regulations, it's actually hindering our country as a whole to be able to innovate in the AI space and compete with some of our top competitors like China, for example. I also kind of agree with this. I think it would be a little messy to go state by state doing AI, integration and rules and regulations and compliance, because even on TikTok, we're all universally watching TikTok and using AI. So how would that play into that? I'm not entirely sure. So I think the framework to start, like having federal guidelines and signing that bill, is a really good start. I will link it down below if you guys are interested in reading in on it. Definitely encourage you to read in on it. There is an AI action plan and there's a blueprint for AI rights. And the biggest things within that is security, privacy protection, data protection, transparency, when you're posting a video online, and especially if you're on TikTok. I'm not sure if they do it on YouTube too, but if you're posting a video online, it will specifically say this video is AI generated. I think there definitely need to be rules and regulations within AI, specifically that a few weeks ago we covered Subbed, which is a AI site that is using AI for the wrong reasons. It is generating people for the wrong reasons. And I think we all kind of know where I'm going with that. The other biggest thing that is a risk to AI that I think should be completely banned is the ability to voice and clone other people's voices. I think it's awesome that we can clone our own voice. We can translate it to different languages. I see no problems with that. The biggest problem is that creating a social media video and then listing somebody that's AI generated in it and then using their voice to promote content or material that is not legitly them promoting it. That I think absolutely should be illegal as well. So we should ban the ability to create AI images for adult content, which was my main point that I was going about with Subbed. We should be able to ban AI for customer service until it's completely perfected, or I don't want to say ban, but at least like have humans behind the AI. You can chat with the bot, and then if you really need help, you talk to a person until it's perfected. And AI voiceovers for promoting content and material from other people. So not being able to use other people to promote your content, obviously, should be common sense. We're going to bring on a crypto accountant. His name is James. Super excited for you guys to meet James. With crypto tax season approaching, it's only appropriate to bring on a few accountants. And honestly, these are some of the best accountants in the space. So if you're looking for help, if you're looking for guidance, I know we had Zach on last week, and James is just as amazing as a crypto accountant and also just as a resource in the crypto space. He's really helped me immensely. But anyways, we're going to be talking generally about personal crypto taxes. If you're completely new and you need help, let's meet James. James, thank you so much for coming on to the show. We have a lot to talk about as tax season is approaching. I thought, what better than to have James come on the podcast and kind of teach us a little bit of a crash course about crypto taxes and with crypto startups versus individuals. Feel free to get into your history, how you ended up in the crypto space, anything that would be interesting to know about your story.
Right on, Vanessa. Appreciate you having me on first and foremost. I'm really excited to be here. But to answer your question, my name is James. I am a CPA. So I went to San Diego State University, originally from California, and got my CPA, went to PwC, actually was there for 2 years, and then decided to go travel. So I was doing merchandising in Vietnam at the time. And then I get a call from my buddy out of absolutely nowhere, who I'm in a fantasy football league with. And he's like, hey, you know anything about crypto? I'm like, I own some. Does that count? He's like, good enough. Hop on a call. 2 hours later, was on the call with a crypto reconciliation firm, did the interview, thought I bombed it because I didn't know anything. Ended up getting the job and then flying back about a week later and started my crypto career. From there, then did, individual reconciliation as the actual CPA, specializing only in crypto. Put myself through an absolute crash course, got good at it. And then I jumped to my current company to lead U.S. partnerships at some. That's
amazing. And let me ask you, so did you have any prior accounting experience before crypto, or was this I guess, how did that interview go to start? Because how did you get the job after not really knowing much into crypto? And I guess let me ask you too, what year was this? Because I feel like that really matters as well.
That's an excellent question. So I'm what's known as a personality hire, if you've heard of it. Yep. So I got on the interview. I just told them, I'm like, I don't really know much about this. My buddy put me on the call, and here I am. So they really took a chance on me, which I sincerely appreciate. And The beautiful thing about crypto, so I've been in crypto about 1 year actually. The beautiful thing about crypto is that you don't need that much experience if you get good, because there's not 10 years, 20 years of history here. It's just, young people could get in, get very specialized in a niche, and then all of a sudden you're the subject matter expert. It's really crazy. I didn't expect it. I'm not, frankly, I know a lot smarter CPAs than myself, but when you choose the right niche, specialty, something up and coming like crypto, I mean, things can happen, and it's been definitely a crazy year. I'm very thankful for everything that's happened.
Oh, that's amazing. So would you say that as long as you have the foundational information that you would need as a CPA, that it is a relatively easy adjustment towards crypto? Or do you think that there are changes within that somebody would need to be prepared for?
Great question. And I just realized I didn't answer your last question fully. So
It's okay.
I was at PwC and I was actually doing audit. The only tax experience I had was one part of the CPA exam, which it's a tough exam, but you really don't learn until you do. So I walked into that interview with literally zero tax experience, never, besides doing my own very basic taxes. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. And here's the beautiful thing about crypto is that you can make headwaves and you don't actually need your CPA, because the CPA, frankly, is very counterintuitive to crypto, the way it's taxed, the way it's treated, the whole processes. So I see these young kids that I was working with at my old firm. I mean, they're 23, 24 years old. They've been in the game about a year now, same time as me. And they're starting to drive value because, frankly, traditional CPAs who I talk to all the time have no idea how to handle it. And it's really freaking them out. It's a pain point. The IRS is coming down, compliance, regulations, becoming super mainstream. And people are looking at it like, what the heck is this? So
Yeah, no,
nothing required, actually. Just, put your head down and learn it.
I was going to say, I talk to a lot of people on the podcast who have no foundational information in education in crypto to begin with. So a lot of people in this industry are self-taught. And with that, you're right, there's so many advantages to get ahead, to get a good spot in this space in your career, to be able to move up the ladder a little bit faster. So I'm glad that you said that. I think that's important for people to know just how much opportunity actually is here in the space. I will tell you, I took a few accounting classes in college and I was just terrible at accounting. I relate on the personality aspect because that is quite literally me as well.
Yes.
No, we're so glad and lucky to have you on the show. So let's get right to it and kind of talk a little bit about crypto. I guess the biggest thing that I think a lot of people misunderstand is that a lot of people don't understand that crypto is taxable. So maybe you can go into explaining how crypto is taxable and in what ways would it be taxable.
Oh, 100%. Especially when I started, I would go to these conferences, Bitcoin Vegas specifically, talk to people and be told, I'm like, hey, I'm a CPA. And they're like, oh, well, crypto isn't taxable. Most common misconception in the world. People really think that because they do DeFi and they think that's invisible, which is actually ironic because it's all on chain. I could go to Etherscan right now and see exactly what you've done. And people think they're hiding. They're not. The IRS is smarter than you think, actually. They hire people that know what they're doing. So, first of all, crypto is taxable. Secondly, it's taxed as a capital asset. It's not like traditional income outside of staking, but, the NFTs, the DeFi, the swaps, the bridging, liquidity pooling, every time you do something like that, it triggers a taxable event. And that's where the term cost basis becomes incredibly important, and why it gets so complex very quickly, especially to traditional accountants, because if you're on a MetaMask and you bring it to a Phantom or a Coinbase, they don't know what you bought it for. So Coinbase is going to issue a 1099, which is great. However, if you transferred it in there, they're just assuming the cost basis is the fair value when they did that transfer. Not the case. And that's where people get in trouble with the IRS. I'm seeing it all the time. Thousands of 6174A letters are being sent out. In certain cases, CP2000s, which is notice of deficiency, that's when you're actually in trouble. And
Love that.
it's because even the people that are filing, they are, claiming ignorance because it's true. They're handed a tax form and it's not accurate. And it's like, how the heck is the average trader going to know that? So takeaway, it is taxable, it is complex, and it's a specialty, especially with meme coin guys.
Right. So let's break this down a little bit more for people that are listening. So for example, if I wanted to buy and hold crypto, which I relatively do now, let's say I'm just buying and holding crypto. So okay, great. If I am increasing my profits in crypto, but I haven't sold, that is a taxable event, yes or no?
No, that's not taxable. Transfers, not taxable. That's a misconception too. You're good there. just track the cost basis appropriately, because when you do sell or when you do swap, that is taxable. It's treated as a sale. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing to be cognizant of. And again, it all comes back to the cost basis, but also appreciation or depreciation of an asset, unrealized, not taxable.
Okay, so in any case, would there be any case where crypto is non-taxable besides like what we just talked about?
The only thing is, so when people enter liquidity pools, those staking rewards, they are taxable, except it's taxed as ordinary income. So to be in the US, it will be on Schedule 1, whereas the other ones will be on Form 8949 and Schedule D. And those are capital asset forms in different tax brackets. Schedule 1 income is much more easy to account for. It's the 8949 that gets people in trouble more often than not.
Okay. So, and I'm kind of just asking questions on the top of my head here for everybody. So, if you are on Coinbase and you get your 1099 form, so is that,
Mhm.
I guess, let's go into this in different avenues so people can kind of understand deeper. So, let's start with Coinbase. So, let's say I'm on a centralized exchange and I'm working with Coinbase and I've been trading there all year long and I get the 1099 form. Is there anything else that I should have or I should know? I know like Coin Ledger has software. Maybe you guys have software I'm sure for crypto tracking. Like, let's
Mhm.
take this step by step. What are the first couple steps that somebody should have down to do this successfully?
For sure. So it really depends on how advanced of a trader they are. If you are someone like myself that's a buy and hold, I went in on Coinbase. I hold it on a Trezor, which is a different wallet, but I don't do a lot. I'm not doing all the DeFi. I'm not on chain. I'm not in Phantom. I'm not doing all that stuff.
Right.
So that's more simple. And if you keep it in Coinbase and you just have a cold wallet or whatever, you're good. Those 1099s will actually be accurate. However, most traders and most people in this crypto space have upwards of 30 wallets. I've seen up to 500 wallets, transferring them in between, doing all sorts of this crazy stuff. And that's where people get confused. So for the average trader, someone just getting started, I think starting on a centralized exchange would be a great start, and try to consolidate it as much as possible because it keeps your taxes a lot simpler. Not to get too in the weeds, but the IRS is now requiring people, formerly they use what's called universal cost tracking versus wallet-based cost tracking. And universal cost tracking, all that means is that, say I sell Bitcoin for $100,000, I bought it at 50. I bought it on a different exchange. I could use that tax lot, the highest one, and assign it to that sale, which reduces your capital gain to as small as possible. Now it requires wallet by wallet. So every single wallet is treated as its own entity. I can't pull from a Phantom and assign it to a Coinbase sale. That's no longer permissible, creating huge headaches for people that have been in the game for 10 plus years. And there's a lot of them. So that's something to be very cognizant of. Just try to practice what's called wallet hygiene. Keep your wallets clean. Try to limit the transfers from a tax perspective, but people do what they have to do.
And let me ask you, why do you think a lot of people have multiple different wallets? Is that for like tax advantages, or what would you think they do that for?
They're trading on a bunch of different platforms for one. So they're doing all sorts of stuff. On a Phantom, for example, you got to buy Solana. Then you got to transfer the Solana into Phantom. And to get on chain, you're interacting in Solana for all these meme coins. So people just get very deep into the web of crypto. There's a lot of great exchanges there. MetaMask being another one that's actually a partner of ours. And yeah, we're inside that app. So shout out to MetaMask, great partner.
Nice. That's awesome.
All sorts of different reasons, but primarily to get on all these different exchanges and wallets. I mean, there's just different things you can do in different platforms.
Okay, yeah, no, I like that. So your top recommendation for beginners would be to start somewhere simple, maybe start on a centralized exchange like Coinbase, only one wallet. If you're not that big into crypto, just holding for the long term, and then therefore when you go to turn over that 1099 form, there's a higher chance, or it's most likely going to be accurate for your taxes, which is less of a headache for everybody, is what you're saying.
Most definitely. You're going to thank yourself for that. But the only caveat here, and look, it doesn't really matter for people not holding exorbitant amount of money on there, but there's a term in crypto called not your keys, not your coin. What that really means is when you're on a centralized exchange, you don't actually own that asset. You own it on paper, but Coinbase, they're holding all the crypto. And when you go to withdraw, they send you somebody else's crypto. So the hash code is not really assigned to you. You get a new one. Where on-chain or on a wallet, for example, you are actually holding your crypto there. So when you're withdrawing it, so say it happened with Celsius. They went under and they didn't have enough liquidity to cover all the withdrawals. And all of a sudden, someone's in jail. A lot of people are out a lot of money. And that's the only risk there. It's called not your keys, not your coin. And that's a big concept to understand. However, for most traders, it's not of high risk, to be quite honest with you.
Okay. How does this come into play with people that do have who do have multiple wallets? Obviously, they're not going to just need a 1099 form. Let's say I made a mistake and I have 8 different wallets. How would you orchestrate me to move in the best direction possible if I had multiple different wallets? Like what forms do I need?
Percent. So you're going to need a form 8949, Schedule 1 and Schedule D. That's for anyone, even with the Coinbases. You're going to need to file those. So that's what the IRS is looking for. Schedule 1 for the ordinary income, like staking rewards. 8949 Schedule D for the capital assets, which is everything you're really transacting in crypto. Oh, this is actually why I have a job, and it's how I did it from a crypto accounting perspective, is you have to use a crypto accounting software. You can't go to a CPA. If you go to a CPA that handles crypto, they're using a crypto accounting software. So that's where I work. I lead partnerships at Sum, formerly Crypto Tax Calculator. And what you do is you upload all your wallets and exchanges. It'll automatically classify it. If there's anything wrong, it will tell you. You'll properly classify it. And then you go ahead and hit download your 8949 Schedule 1, Schedule D, send it to your CPA or upload to TurboTax, and you are good to go. So it frankly is a necessity at this point. Everyone at our company uses it, obviously. We all own crypto.
Yes, that's the assumption. So okay, that's a good point to mention. Yeah, crypto software. So your company, you said that your company has, do you guys have one that you sell or just one that you use yourself?
Both. I mean, we use it because we need it. But
Right.
yeah, we sell it to wallets, exchanges, and of course, accounting firms. Hundreds of thousands of retail users as well use it on an individual basis. They just go self-serve and they handle it themselves. Coinbase is a partner of ours. MetaMask, we're actually integrated into their app. So if you go into the tax section, you'll see some pop up. You can go ahead and download from there.
Awesome.
It's a full integration.
And what does that look like? Because obviously I just buy and hold crypto. So I'm not a day trader. You know, I'm not using multiple wallets. I'm very simplistic in my involvement in crypto. So I guess how does that, I mean, you don't have to show us, but I'm just saying in regards to, are you tracking every single transaction that you ever do and the amount and the time?
Oh yeah, it's pretty robust. And I'm actually going to share my screen here.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this is sum.com. As you can see, formerly Crypto Tax Calculator. We actually rebranded today. So we're brand new.
Amazing.
But we've been around 8 years, so this is perfect timing for a podcast, actually.
Cool.
However, so how this really works is I'm going to do this for a retail client. We're in 180 countries, but we're looking at America right now. So you'll go in and you'll go to your accounts tab. This is where you upload all your wallets and exchanges.
Perfect.
We support 3,600 integrations. So if it exists, it is covered. We have an incredible dev team dedicated to keeping these supported. So we'll start with a Coinbase here. You could go ahead and either upload it by CSV, sync it with an AI API, or just log into your Coinbase directly. And what that'll do, you'll see it reflected here, but it'll pull into the transactions tab. So you'll classify it as a trade. You'll go ahead and see what you bought it for, what you did, and then the associated gain loss. So this is the most important thing to ensure it's accurate. From there, you'll go ahead and download the reports. When everything is done, everything is reconciled, you'll be able to see, okay, I had 605 in gains this year. Great. That's going to be taxed at the capital gains rate. Download the report. These are the 3 you're going to need. Schedule D, Schedule 1, 8949. TurboTax will have a place for you to drop it in. And you're good to go. But where this gets sticky for multiple people is they've been trading since 2012. They've never paid taxes on it. So what do? That's where this becomes incredibly important with the timing and classification, because everything is pulled through to the exact second. So the price, the cost base is accurate. And the IRS, when they hit you with an audit, they're going to want to know these things. So that's the big scary word for clients, for users. They don't want the audit. They already make a lot of money, or they lost money and you could actually harvest that loss. But you want everything tied out, because if they come looking and the crypto part is wrong, which is what they're going to look at, then they all of a sudden open Pandora's box and you're dealing with a full-scale audit. And, as everyone knows, if someone goes looking for something wrong, they're going to find something.
Right. No, this is excellent to be talking to people about and teaching people about, and definitely
Yeah.
want to recommend this platform to people. And I guess, yeah, how would you guys go about that? If somebody has been trading even since like 2018, for example, do
Mhm.
they need to go back into their trading history themselves and then compute all this? Would that be a recommendation to them?
Yes, and without a software, I will tell you, it's virtually impossible because there is so much data, there's so many classifications, there's so many years, and so many cutoff periods that you need the software. But the beautiful part is when you upload these wallets and exchanges, it pulls in all of the historical data. So
Nice.
I've worked back to 2007 before, and you could go ahead and get caught up, and the reports will classify themselves so you own capital gain tax year by year. Sometimes you have losses during a year. You could carry it forward 3 years. All of a sudden, you reduce your capital gains tax significantly, especially if you've been scammed, by the way. Many people have.
Amazing.
Everything is pulled through. That's what the API is for. And some chains don't have the data feed to do an API, but what you do there is every wallet in the world is going to have an option to download the CSV, which is why in Coinbase, for example, you could upload this file, and it'll just be a giant Excel file of your entire trading history. Drop it in, the software will pull it through and reflect it in that transaction tab.
Wow. That's awesome. On the personal level, is there anything that you miss that you feel people should know? Is there any other additional information that you want people to know about personal taxes? Maybe common mistakes that you see. I know the biggest one is people think that crypto isn't taxable, but like anything else before we kind of briefly go into talking about startups?
Keep it simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I would say. Consolidate as much as possible. Don't have 500 wallets. Frankly, most CPAs in the country don't even know how to handle it at this point, and they're doing guesswork too. No offense to
Yeah.
anybody. There's a lot of specialized crypto accountants out there. People are catching on fast, but the average CPA has no idea and they won't touch crypto.
Right. And also, like, if you are starting out in trading crypto, let's say you want to be a day trader or you're doing staking, whatever it is, have the software at hand. Start on the right foot.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
sure, yeah, like, I mean, obviously, if you're starting in crypto and you're listening to the podcast, you're going to know what forms you need. You're going to know what software you can use. Like, hopefully, we're helping you get on the right track to make sure that you're trading safely so you don't run into trouble down the road. But I agree, keep it simple. And if you are just trying to dabble into crypto, one wallet, potentially trading on a centralized exchange, and then working with people in the industry that can guide you better is your best avenue. I think you did great, James, explaining all that information, and we'll have a bunch of resources listed below, like what forms you need again, just so it's clear for everybody. But so when we're talking very, very briefly about crypto startups, what are some common mistakes that you might see in crypto businesses as well? And I know there's a lot we could go in this direction about. Feel free to keep it simple.
Look, no, this is a great question. Businesses, stablecoins are taking over the world right now. It's replacing ACH payments because it makes complete sense. So the influx of crypto transacting businesses is absolutely insane. It's our highest growing market by a mile because we've had the individuals down for a long time. Everyone's doing stablecoins. A lot of people are accepting payments in crypto. They have a treasury. The number one rule, I'll keep it to number one rule because I could talk for 45 minutes on this.
Right.
Do not mix your personal transactions with your business transactions. You will cause hell for yourself. And I see it all the time. And you're going to end up paying a CPA 30 grand to fix it. So please keep them separate. If it's a personal trade, keep it on a separate wallet. Keep it completely out of your business. You do not want to intermix funds because it gets ugly and the IRS does not like it. And they will drop a very heavy hammer on you. So new businesses in crypto, just don't do that. And
I love that.
I'll rest my case there.
Yeah, no, I know, because we could go into a lot of different avenues with that, and I don't want to stress people out, because most of the people that are listening are just potentially traders themselves, individuals that are trading. Do you guys, for some, are CPAs connected to some? Is that how that works? You download your...
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any people there that do specialize, I mean, I'm sure, in crypto businesses, or...
A ton of them. We're actually coming out with a recommended CPAs page soon. But yes, there's, I would say, 100 major players that only do crypto recon, crypto tax planning, everything. If you Google it, you will find it. We're actually going to have a page on our website by the end of December where you could go and find them. But I do want to show something now that you say that, because we have thousands and thousands of accountants that use this platform. And the real value here, if you are an accountant, is you have a unified dashboard here. So they have thousands of clients. They're all here. You'll just go jump into it. do their recon for them, download the report, send it over to them, and send them a bill. So it's incredibly, incredibly useful for accountants, more so than, I mean, obviously valuable for individuals, but accountants are a huge player in this space. They have thousands of clients and they handle it through our software. We sell that workflow to accountants quite frequently.
Perfect. Yeah, no, and I honestly, James, like appreciate that honesty. We are expecting to have a few other CPAs come on the show in the near future as well. So I'll make sure to that's a good point to bring up next time too, if any of them have any information too on businesses, just to kind of help but you've been you've been amazing so far for personal, and I really truly think people just need personal. If you're on an advanced level where you have a crypto business and you're probably already working with an accountant at that point. I mean, I would hope so. So
for sure.
But let's switch gears and let's talk a little bit about the scams and stuff. Do you have any stories in regards to like crypto scams that you can share? Because I think that's so important to mention too.
Most definitely. It's
Unfortunately,
way too common. And these scammers, I will give them props. I'm not endorsing it, but I will give them props. They're very sophisticated, they're smart people. One of the ways I actually got, I would say, known in this industry is handling the scams with a good friend, Justin Zanardi, who's actually our head of product now. He's a CPA. And Justin actually put in the brain work to create an IRS codification, making tax and theft laws fully deductible under IRC 165C3. Meaning that when you do get scammed, if you entered it with intent to profit and, it turned out to be a Ponzi scheme, you could take that entire loss. I had one lose more than $10 million, millions and millions of dollars worth of crypto. They get scammed out of it. Someone hits them up on the internet. They're like, hey, we have a new exchange. It's great. Looks legit. Very high staking rewards, very high yield. And they're like, great, I'm making a ton of money. Turns out it was all fake, and that crypto is never to be found, and they're never going to get it back. So the most glaring example of the most recent major, this was a bankruptcy, not a scam, but also deductible, is Celsius. And their CEO is actually sitting in jail right now.
Right.
And they didn't have the liquidity to cover the withdrawals. And then all of a sudden the exchange went down and, people were left holding the bag. And that's where it comes to not your keys, not your coin again. You didn't actually own the crypto. So scams are very common, but do consult a CPA now because it is deductible. So you probably won't be paying capital gains tax for a very long time.
That's amazing. Yeah, if you are experiencing a loss in crypto, let's say I only have $1,000 in crypto, is that taxable?
Yes, it is.
So there's no minimums or maximums. Any amount of money that you have in crypto is taxable.
Yeah, not at this time. The IRS is kicking around the idea of a $3,000 threshold, but at this time, no. It's not in effect.
And I know that the Celsius scandal was like a huge thing for you in regards to discovering your crypto path as well and wanting to be a part of this. So that's really important. And I guess for people that have experienced the Celsius scandal in that time, so you're saying that if they experienced a loss, they basically wouldn't be held accountable for that loss? Or is that something that's now happening outside of the Celsius scandal?
So it was after what they did is they gave distributions in actually 4 parts. Part of it, which was in stock. It's a very unique case. It's very funky. And once those distributions were had and the bankruptcy court was settled, then all of a sudden you can now take that loss. And it's not that you're saving money. It's not free money. What it is you take the fair value of what you had versus what you got back and take that amount, you can reduce your taxable income. So if you made, let's say, $150,000, you have a $70,000 loss, all of a sudden you're paying 21% on 80,000 instead of 150. And you can carry it forward.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that will definitely help a lot of the millionaires that are out here. It's not me, but
those poor things, not me neither.
I know. No, honestly, James, you've been amazing. I wanna talk to you generally about the crypto space too, like outside of being a CPA. What do you think? Because we do live interviews for crypto all the time, and we try to get the public's opinion about crypto and the disconnect. I want to ask you, what do you think is the biggest disconnect in the crypto space? What do you think people don't understand about crypto, and that makes them not be a part of the space?
Yeah, one word there: fear. People fear what they don't understand, kind of like a snake. Snakes not going to hurt you. They're not really aggressive animals, but they're scary because we don't understand them. Crypto people don't understand. Ones that do are doing pretty well right now. I mean, not right now. It's kind of a bloodbath, but people that have understood that for years understand it. So don't be scared of it. It's becoming increasingly mainstream. I mean, you see the BlackRocks hopping in. You see Citibanks hopping in. Those are pretty big indicators that it's not going anywhere. Stable coins are going to change the world, in my opinion, because that's going to be the way businesses transact, because there's no holding your money for 4 days in a bank, getting approval to send your own money. It's ridiculous. So just start soft education. There's newsletters out there. There's AI. I mean, incredible resources. And I think 1 in 5 people in the US now do own crypto, so it's getting there. However, just don't be scared of it. It's not a scam. People like myself, the IRS, attorneys are now specializing in it. So the regulations are coming. I think that's what scares people away, is they're like, oh, it's the Wild West. I don't know what I'm doing. It's big. It's scary. That's changing quickly because enforcement is actually coming in, and kind of like stocks used to be. I mean, it was unregulated at a certain point, and it is scary, and I do understand it. But yeah, it's not going to disappear. I assure you that. It's only going to get bigger.
I talked to so many people about the stock market when the stock market was getting created, and this is like way back in time. I got to check my facts, but I'm pretty sure it was like 16 or 1700s. But there was so much doubt around the stock market when the stock market was getting created. And now look at where we are in times. It's just, you're so right. People do fear crypto. They don't understand it. It's unregulated. People don't know who to trust. We've experienced a lot of scams and a lot of fraud. But I do think now that it's getting regulated within this current administration, a lot of people are awakening and opening up to it. I want to end this episode with giving some people some guidelines and some resources about how they can walk in your footsteps. And I know that you are kind of a little bit self-taught, but maybe if you have like any recommendations, or maybe people that you can recommend, any books you can recommend, or just anything to help somebody be able to walk in your footsteps one day, what would be your recommendations?
Most definitely. So there's actually a pioneer in this industry. He's a Forbes top US crypto CPA. His name's Patrick Camuso. He's in New York City. He's all over the internet. He's coming out with a crypto tax handbook, I think in a month. And that's going to be essentially a one-stop shop for everything you need to know there. So I do want to keep him on people's radar. He's been in this game a very long time. He's an OG of the industry and very, very good at what he does. So keep an eye out for that. But furthermore, I mean, teach yourself with AI. That's what I did. I had a ChatGPT thread that spanned 6 months, asking it the dumbest questions you could possibly think of. And eventually, if I could learn it, trust me, you guys can learn it. And again, the biggest takeaway here is it's such a low barrier to entry because CPAs are scared. You don't need to be a CPA. Become a crypto tax specialist. You don't need to be a CPA at this point, which is why it's such an incredible opportunity for people. Get good at it. There's not a ton of competition right now, and that will change in the next 5 years. So the time is now.
So you do not have to be a CPA in order to be a crypto tax specialist, but how are those two different from each other?
Look, a CPA is credibility building. I mean, people trust a CPA because we're certified in the tax realm. However, a lot of the best people I know in this industry, I'll be frank with you, that know a lot more than I do, are not CPAs. They just got into crypto tax and they got very good at it. They're crypto nerds. They've been in the game a long time, a lot longer than I have. And they're studs. They make a ton of money. They drive a lot of value to people, which is the way you make money. You bring value and then the money will come. So no, you don't necessarily need the CPA. I'm not going to say it doesn't help. It does if you want to practice, but I mean, go to these crypto accounting firms and they'll hire you and they'll teach you a lot.
Wow, that's awesome. Honestly, that's good to note myself. Not that I don't love the podcast and everything that we're doing here, but it's just it's nice to have a little extra credibility on the side. So I'm just infinitely curious about that too. But I'll definitely talk to you after this. I have some additional questions to give you. But anyways, before we close out, is there any last pieces of wisdom, advice, anything you want to give to the people before we depart? We'll have all your resources listed below. So if anybody's interested in contacting you, of course, you guys will be able to get in touch with James, but just anything you want the people to know before we depart.
Pay your taxes. There's no hiding. And then my Twitter is also 5 days old. It's James Crypto CPA. And I post some bangers on there. I'm a big meme guy. So check that one out.
We definitely will. That's awesome. And definitely we'll have, like I said, we'll have everything down below if anybody's looking to contact you. I definitely want to be in touch after the show. We'd love to have you on, in a year or so to see where you're at. Because I know you said you've only been in crypto for about a year now, correct?
Yep,
that's awesome. And
professionally.
also, Yeah, and also you go to a ton of events, right? You said you go to the Las Vegas, like you went to a crypto Las Vegas event,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. In the past 3 months, I've been to France, Australia, Singapore, Colombia, Miami, New York, Toronto. I mean, it's everywhere. It's a traveling circus. I actually live in Vegas now. So Vegas is one of them, but that's down the street.
is your job remote or
Yeah, yeah, fully remote. Do a ton of traveling because meetings, conferences. Crypto's a traveling circus. It is a lot of fun, a lot of work, but a lot of fun, and everybody's cool. So that's the other beautiful part for young people looking to break in the industry is not your classic white collar job.
yeah, there's so much opportunity here, and
Crazy.
I say that across the board too, with smart contracting and a lot of people getting into computer science. Now, you can get into blockchain. Like, it's so new that you're right. You do not need to have like X amount of years of experience to be able to thrive in the crypto space. All the more opportunity to get invested and involved in it. So, James, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. You were extremely relatable and also like so easy to talk to. So I really appreciate that. And I'm sure a lot of other people watching will appreciate you as well and everything that you've given us this podcast episode. Thank you, everybody who was watching this podcast episode. If you guys have any questions, you can comment directly below on Spotify or on X if you're seeing this now. And we will see you next Monday on Cryptic Humility. Thank you.